Hello again. We're on the Euro USD. It's the 5th of September, currently 12:34:39. We're looking at Proteus here on the chart, looking at a very high probability opportunity to the short side here after a bounce off of the top analysis boundary. Ideal trade setup. So we're going to go for a low trade here with a $25 investment and execute at 55 seconds. Once we're into the trade, we will come back to you just before expiry to see how the trade has panned out and keep going for a few minutes here. Okay, we're back. It's 12:39:48, just a few seconds before expiry here, and the trade has gone into the money and will be expiring in the money here shortly for a $42.5 gross return and a $17.5 net profit. As a result, the trade was taken on the basis of a high probability trade at the time of execution to the short side and has now expired in the money. We're just waiting for the platform to calculate expiry. There it is. So we have expired, and the next available opportunity will be at 12:45. So we'll come back to you just a few seconds before that time for the next interval. It is now 12:44:35. Let's go back to the chart here on Proteus to see if we have an opportunity available to us. We're looking at a medium probability short side move projected by Proteus, the leading indicator on the right-hand side, which is most likely going to either bounce off of the long reversal zone there or break right through it and change the focus to bearish. We will now execute this $25 trade to the short side here again on the Euro USD. And once we're into the trade, which we are now, we will come back to you just a few seconds before expiry to see how it panned out. All right, back again. We're looking at a failed trade here. Just a few seconds left to expiry, but a failed trade when using Proteus is actually a good sign of possibly a higher probability outcome up ahead. So we're going to go for the next trade here as a recovery with double the investment amount since it is within our risk parameters and within our equity threshold here. So we're into the recovery trade and we'll come back to you shortly. All right, as expected, the recovery trade has succeeded. We're just a few seconds away, roughly 20 seconds away from expiry here. The logic behind the recovery trade in Proteus is that if a trade in Proteus fails, it's most likely been mistimed, which means that Proteus has essentially not been able to calculate the exact time of entry. When a trade in Proteus fails, the next trade has an even higher probability in the immediate next interval. What that basically says is you need to, if your equity supports it, get into a recovery position like this, but only as a one-off. You only do this once. If the recovery trade fails, then it is absolutely certain that the focus has changed from one direction to the other. In this case, the focus was short. And if the recovery trade had failed, it would absolutely certainly mean that we are now looking at bullish momentum. That is why when a trade fails in Proteus, the next trade is very important if your equity and your risk management can support it. Because when Proteus trades fail, it's likely that the entry has been mistimed, and that is a rare occurrence on its own. But when you have a mistimed entry, the next interval has an even higher probability of going in the same projected direction that Proteus said in the first place, which makes recovery trades very high probability trades. And if you execute the right equity based on your risk management like we did in this example, you are looking at a trade that not only is likely to be more profitable than the previous one, you are also able to recoup the loss on a failed trade, which is fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial here on using Proteus for not only generic trading, but also for recovery trading. Proteus is a leading indicator, as you know. On the right-hand side of your chart, it shows you a probability associated with each projected move. And for further confirmation, should you need it, on the left-hand side, you have additional confluence metrics that are standard MetaTrader 4 indicators presented to you in a easy to visualize format with up or down moves for long and short market directions respectively, that allow you to immediately gauge where the market has been up until this point, while Proteus on the right hand side allows you to gauge what the market is likely to do next. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.